Whilst we were locked in our homes for most of 2020, I dug out my childhood obsession with Lego, and I had a bit of a template since you kindly gifted these to us today, Morten. And opening last year's conference in Farnborough and sharing the Lego Group's Centre Office strategy, it's great to have Morten up here back to tell us a bit more about the Lego Group story. We heard from him on the main stage, but he is here now in studio along with Puneet Bhatia. Hi Puneet, hi Morten.
Thank you, hi again.
Hello again. So we've had so many questions since you've been down on the main stage, so I was hoping that we could ask a few and use the time up in the studio.
You're
One
welcome.
of the questions we got from our delegates was, sustainability is mentioned as a focused area for the Lego Group. What are some kind of practical examples of how you progress this agenda within GBS?
Well, within GPS, one of the areas we are focusing on right now is building up a foundation for sort of collecting the data for ESG. You know, there's legislation coming probably around 24, where we all need to be ready to be audited, and it's getting sort of more serious now as it will be law. So we're preparing all of that right now. So almost the same way as we prepare financial data, where you gotta sort of reconcile it, you gotta make sure that everything is in the right order. That's what we are doing in GPS. So we go through it end to end and make sure that we have and collect all the data, whether this is electricity or any other areas. That's our team that will actually collect and set up these both processes and controls to make sure that we are on solid ground.
Fantastic.
Fantastic, Morten. I mean, that is so interesting, and I guess there are so many organizations thinking about going in that direction. It's fantastic to see that you're already there, I guess.
Yeah.
I guess talking about the data, you talked about data mining, you talked about the process mining. There's sometimes a bit of a gap between expectations and reality. I know Deloitte supported you on this. Was there a gap? How was your experience?
I would say, honestly, no, because I think the organizations, the markets and channels that we did this for, the first one we did, was overwhelmed with what we showed them. So they had, I mean, their people, of course, had participated. So from that angle, they had a clue about what's coming, but the executives, they were totally floored when we showed them with real data for the first time, you know, how to really explain their day-to-day work. So honestly, we did not experience this. It's also, as I said down there, it is a little bit early days for us and so on. We have done data mining for about a year now. We have done a lot inside the BSO to sort of get familiar with the tools and how we can use it. And now we are going out to the business. I'm sure, you know, it's not going to be an easy ride always, because especially also now when we have set some expectations, the next ones are already knocking on our door and said, hey, can you come to us? And we cannot deliver this type of analysis to everybody at the same time. So we have to sort of focus and pick our resources. But the first one, I tell you, was truly a really big eye-opener for everybody.
Fantastic. I mean, and you know, the situation you're describing where people are coming to you to say, can you do this for me? That's the creating that pull, I guess, is so interesting. Right?
Yes.
So I guess you're already doing sustainability. You've got finance processes. Where else are you going? You talked about payroll. Which other parts of the organization are you going to?
With sustainability, yeah, for sure. You know, in the Lego Group, we have a big sustainability agenda. So our focus in the GPS is on the one I mentioned before. But of course, we have a very broad agenda. We are trying to get these bricks to be made out of something different. It will probably take us maybe 10, 15, 20 years still, but we are doing this. In the meantime, though, we are changing all the boxes and all the little plastic that you use to get your Legos inside the boxes. All of that is now from sustainable material.
Fantastic.
So you could say we help with this in the GPS as well, because of course there's new suppliers that come on board and so on.
That is fantastic.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess Sarah and I have been having some fun with these as well, I guess.
What did you make, Puneet? It's a beautiful flower arrangement.
It's abstract, but yeah, it is a flower, but it's a little more than that, I guess.
We've let our creativity unleash this morning thanks to your session, Morten.
Great, that is beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We did a Ukraine flag
I
with
love
a
it.
love heart.
I love it.
Fantastic.
Well done.
But I'm going to ask you one more sort of question. I guess you talked about the different sites. You've got 5 sites now. And I guess an organization like yours, which is so purpose-led, so brand-led, how do you ensure that permeates into the GBS organization and into so many different locations in a consistent way?
Well, one of the things I did early on was I nominated global service owners, which is a concept that not all GBS have, but for each of these site heads, they actually have a dual role. For example, the guy down in the Czech Republic, we have about 250 people down there that he's leading. So he's in charge of that. Well, he's also leading the accounting service stream. That means he has a second hat on to make sure that the entire accounting stream is consistent and that we implement it the same way and we provide the service the same way, whether you are getting the service from Monterrey in Mexico or the Czech Republic or from Denmark or from China or anywhere. So, and that concept have really worked well for us.
Right,
so he's doing that in this case together with the global process owner. Those two work hand in hand, but where the site leads that have this dual role, they're closer connected to the stakeholders. And that's important to us because we don't want to be just good in one area. We want this to scale and be good everywhere, no matter where you get the service. That has been a challenge sometimes, but I would say, I think you will find from our stakeholders, they feel our service is getting more and more consistent now.
Fantastic, fantastic.
So Morten, thank you so much again for attending this year's event. You're such a highly anticipated speaker and you knocked it out of the park, so thank you very much.
Thank you.
Unfortunately, that's all we have time for